So come to standing. Sorry about that. Lift and roll the shoulders. Just lift your feet up and then just reconnect the feet to the ground. Stiff necks. Breathing in, turn the head to the left. Breathing out, turn the head to the right. Into the left. And out to the right. Come back to the centre. Lift and roll the shoulders again. Breathing in, raise the right arm up. Stretch it up. Breathe out, turn the head to the left. Breathe in, bring the head back to the centre. And breathe out, lower the right arm. And breathing in, raise the left arm. Stretch it up. Breathe out, turn the head to the right. Breathe in, come back to the centre. And breathing out, lower the left arm. Lift and roll the shoulders. And then breathing in, raise the right arm. And just circle the wrists in one direction. And then circle the wrists in the opposite direction. Stretch the arm up. And breathing out, lower the right arm. Breathing in, raise the left arm. Circle the wrists. And then circle them in the opposite direction. Breathing out, lower the left arm. Lift and roll your shoulders. And then circle both wrists up. Stretching out, and circle both wrists down. And then just lift and roll the shoulders. And then just stepping out a little bit, and a very familiar swaying from side to side. And then start to slow that movement down. And then come to the centre. Bring your feet back to hip width apart. Lift your right ankle and just circle the ankle, circle the knee. If that helps, or otherwise feel foot.
As long as you don't press down, that's okay. I do this big toe maybe.
And then circle the other way. Emphasising the parts that might or might not need to be emphasised. And then just release the right heel down. And then lift the left heel and just circle in one direction. And then circle in the opposite direction. And then just lower the heel. And then lift and roll the shoulders. Breathing in, raise both arms up, clasp and reverse. Press the feet down. And then go to the left. You can stay statically or bounce in and out, chin into chest. Breathe in, come to the centre, stretch up, and then come to the right side, either static or just bouncing in and out. Breathing in, come to the centre. And breathing out, just turn. Again, the turn can be subtle or it can be bouncing in and out, static or bouncing, subtle or more pronounced. Come to the centre and breathing out, turn to the other side. Doesn't matter which way. Come to the centre and then lower the hands, lift and roll the shoulders. And place the hands on the waist, feet are hip width apart, or maybe a little bit wider. And then breathing out, bend the knees, tummy in, lower abdominal muscles engaged. You're engaging your core perineum engages upwards, You bend as little or as much as you like. And the back of the neck is long, so you're looking at the floor. And then pressing your feet down to come up. Adjust your feet if you need to, because we're going to lift the heels to come into a very soft balance. And then before you lower your heels, lower them to a millimetre off the ground so that the weight goes into the heels and then lower to the ground. And then release the hands, lift and roll the shoulders and clasp your hands behind your back, aiming the knuckles to the floor. You can either have the thumbs together, which is harder, or you can release in an open weave. Harder is obviously more yogic, but not at the compromise of opening your shoulders. And then just lift your hands away from you slightly and turn slightly to the left. Your hands might go to the right. Come to the centre and then turn the body to the right and your hands will go to the left. And come to the centre. Release the hands and lift and roll the shoulders. Breathing in, raising the hands up and Venus lock, so second fingers together, thumb over thumb, and just sway from side to side. And then lower the hands. So this next one, I'm going to ask Nikki from the Chinese point of view. Hands together, if you can't bring your hands together behind you, then hold your wrists or your elbows. But if you can do reverse prayer, which meridian is it, Nikki, putting you on the spot that runs on the outer edge of the little finger edge? Is it heart or lungs? Lung. So just if you're there, if not, don't worry, just hold your wrists. If you're there, then try and bring your elbows slightly apart, which is harder still, and turn to the left. Come to the centre and very gently turn to the right and come to the centre. Release the hands and just lift and roll the shoulders and then just shake the hands out. It's very easy to lose capacity and not realise that you've lost it, and that's just one of those exercises that you would never think of doing. Just pull your thumb, I'm holding my right thumb, and just releasing the joints. Good for joints and arthritis. Actually, very good for your feet. So I'm trying to conclude that. And then just pull the thumb, second, third, fourth, and little finger. And then just shake. Lift and roll the shoulders, and we're coming to half salute to the suns, palms together at the heart centre. Soften the knees, circle the arms up, and you might want to straighten the palms together. Just come through the heart centre, bending the knees, and then sliding the hands onto the shins. Breathing in, half lift, lengthening from the tailbone to the top of the head. Breathe out, soften your knees, soften your elbows, curl in. Breathe in, half lift, and stay here as you breathe out. Breathe in, soften the knees, press the feet down, and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. The head's the last thing to come upright. And then breathing in, raise the arms up, stretch the fingers, thumbs behind, little fingers in front. And then breathing out, just circle your wrists down. Lift and roll your shoulders, hands together at the heart centre, elbows out. Breathing in, soften the knees, circle the arms upwards, stretch up, palms at the top together. Breathing out, come through the centre, back through the heart centre, softening the knees, hands onto the shins, breathing in, half lift. Breathing out, bend in. Breathing in, half lift. And stay here as you breathe out. Breathing in, soften the knees, press the feet down and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Breathing in, raise the hands up, hold the thumbs this time, and just again swaying tree, just sway from side to side. And then come to the centre, breathing out to lower the arms, lift and roll the shoulders again, hands on the waist, and step perhaps hip width apart as you begin to swirl the hips in one direction, bending the knees as little or as much as you need to, and making the movement as small or as large as you want to. If you want to think about your liver, then you would make the circles very wide. I won't look. So just circling the other way. And come to the centre, lift and roll the shoulders, palms together, and then we're going to come down to the mat, but we're going to look at feet. So before we come to lying on the mat, come to seated with the legs out in front. Don't worry, we'll come to the back.
Oh, sorry, I'm not being a puppet, I'm sorry.
No, I just do your whole back. So just bounce your legs, just lift
Sit on
possession.
your bolster. Yes.
Sorry?
Might be more
Oh,
comfortable
it's-
to
yeah,
sit
right.
on your bolster. Yes, thank you.
And then just
Join.
point your feet and soles of the feet up. So something I hadn't realised, I've always known that this is very good for circulation and it's very good for boosting your immunity and lymph. But what I hadn't realised, stupidly, is that it's very good for boosting leg strength. And I was thinking, I think I said to you about older people who are very, like my mother-in-law, is very immobile, but she can do this, and it, as I said, helps with leg strength a little bit. So just begin to circle the ankles in one direction, and this helps, of course, too, with mobility, because when people fall, they can often do damage around the ankle area. Or we all can, if you have a sudden fall, but the muscles, and then circle the ankles in the opposite direction. If the muscles are a little bit more, what's the word, used, maybe the damage might be a bit less. And
You did it before, didn't you? What did you do to your foot?
oh, I don't know. I had 2 disastrous ones, and I never knew what I did to it. But in fact, a doctor said they thought I'd broken it.
A little better now.
Things heal better if they're broken than if you damage ligaments and
Yeah.
stuff. I think.
I think there's still something there, and I think there's a sort of arthritis that's gone to the damaged joint. So just rub your legs and pat, and you can not confine to your legs, you can feel tummy for diet is marvellous. Ready to prep.
Use that simple.
And then just bend, have your legs slightly apart to support this. Bend up your right leg, holding under the right thigh. And so we're looking at the right knee, just swaying the knee. It's a hinge joint, so it hasn't got a huge amount of movement, but this lubricates the fluid, the joint fluid. Charlotte, tell me what the fluid is, both of you.
Synovial.
Synovial fluid.
Remember that from school.
Oh, do you? Oh, I'm very impressed.
So
And then just however works for you. Ideally, you bring your ankle on top of your extended left leg, and just if you can't bear, just basically bend your feet forwards and backwards. And then just hold the right foot with the left hand. Have your right hand and just circle the big toe and just pull gently. Circle the second toe one way, the other way. If if you massage down, is that your sinuses down?
Yes, it's your sinus reflex points down between the insides of your toes, right down.
Can you see that, Gilly? Or have you got
Can
that?
you-
Sinus points.
So if you start your finger just inside of your big toe and run right down to the bottom and then up the next toe, so that's in between all the toes.
So all the toes, if you can see, Gilly,
Sinuses.
massage and sinuses. And then again, as you're going to each toe, just gently pull and then circle one way and the other way and just pull. It's to within what's comfortable. Obviously not if you're...
Yeah, have to be careful.
So if you go down to the bottom of in between, right down in between your toes, so if you start at your little toe
Oh, right.
and the next one, so that's your outer ear reflex point.
Oh,
so if you
hang
think
on, say
about
that
it,
again. This one,
Yeah,
and
and
the
the,
next...
between the little toe and the next one.
Okay.
You start at the outside. So right down in between the toe,
Okay.
that's your outer ear reflex point. And then the next one along, next toe, so between the second and third toes, is inner ear.
Right.
So if you've got inner ear, you could, sometimes that can feel a bit, mine's feeling a bit.
Yes, mine is.
I
It's
know, it's
mine.
fine, but I suction next
Yeah,
week. I feel
and
like
And that can often be like, at the moment, you know, pollen and hay fever and stuff like that.
Congestion due to COVID.
Yeah, oh right, yeah, so it could
Okay.
be. So if you feel that, so massaging in there
It's
can
feeling
actually
a bit
help,
tender.
it can help alleviate it. So you can do it on both sides. And then the next one along, so that's between, so 3 toes in, 1, 2, 2, that's your reflex point for your eyes. So if you think outer ear at the edge, moving in inner ear to remember, and then the eye is the next one.
And then between the second toe and the...
Yes, and that's just sort of basically nose and everything sort of central, but it's on both sides. So
Excellent.
So if you're doing very yogic, they tell you not to have your hands over the foot
in between.
because it blocks the energy. But on the other hand, some people can't, yes, it is better. But if you can't people bear it, threading your fingers through your toes is the best. But people don't like it, so if you can't, then that's an overhand.
No,
Why-
because I
what's
can't
the
wear
thing?
flip flops, so I can't put my fingers in there.
It is
at
a
all.
major
That's
problem,
horrible.
the sensation.
Yes,
So if you
horrible
can't, then
feelings,
just hold it there. But the yogic way is to do that.
Mm.
And then yogically, you use your hand to make the movement and circle it. And then you relax your hand and make your feet do it, which is harder. And then just circle the ankle in one direction with your hand. This is all part of something called the Pawan.
I never know how to say it when I see it written down.
That-
I just kind of gloss over it. Go
The
that
Pawans,
one. Rotation.
the rotations for the joints
How do you
and
say it again?
rheumatic. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I'm sure if someone like Lynn Fiona Angon-Bar would say, she'd say that that's wrong. Pawan, P-A-W-A-N, Pawan, Muk, M-U-K, Sthana, S-T-H-A-N-A, Pawan Muk Sthana. It's moving the wind through the body, so it's moving the energy through the body. And then just rub your foot, hug your knee in, place it down and see if your right foot feels any different from your left foot. And then we're going to do the same again. Bend up the left foot, hugging under the left thigh, just very gently. Any difference? Lubricating the knee. And then just hugging the knee in, turning it over, and the same again. So a question of circling, I mean really it's a freestyle, circling and just pulling, massaging in between. You can spend a lot of time on your feet.
Do you do any self-reflexology?
Sorry?
Do you have any little self-reflexology routines?
Yes, I
that
do
you on
actually.
yourself?
I was at night, yes, because I have problems with psoriasis on my feet as well, so I put cream and stuff on. But every night I massage my feet and do a little quick sort of run through, just 5 minutes. It's quite relaxing and
Sure.
Suze has said, I think before, that you put oil on first and then cream on
yes, if you do oil first and rub that all in, and then put cream on afterwards, because the oil has got smaller molecules, so that goes into your feet a lot quicker, and then the cream will sort of moisten on the outside. So you could do a couple of minutes with a bit of oil,
Mm.
and then a couple of minutes with some, body cream or hand cream or whatever.
Extra moisturising.
So all of that, and then you can thread your fingers through or not, if that really freaks you out. Just again to move your feet up and down or circle them. And then your hand, whether it's over or through your feet still, and make your feet do the work, which is a different muscle exercise. All things that you don't think about, or we don't think about. And then just circle your left ankle one way. And then circle the left ankle the other way. And then supporting the leg to hug the left knee in, stretch leg out, just bounce and rub. And then we're going to come to the back soon. And bend both knees. Just to test you, before we lie on our backs, just move the feet in. If you want to go into the full boat, Nikki, do, but just for our purposes, just lifting the feet off. Really bring the tummy in to keep the back upright. If you want to do a full boat, do, but you've got the challenge is to keep your back upright. And then just
That makes it
release. And then come to lying on the back, knees bent, feet hip width apart. If you've got a bolster or a pillow, have it handy. I'll try not to set fire to myself, which I've always done before. And knees up to the ceiling, feet down, palms either down or resting on your abdomen. And just start by swaying the knees from side to side. And you might prefer your feet to be slightly wider than hip width apart. That's fine. You can go as wide as you want to. And as you sway from side to side, we're just going to bring in an awareness. So initiate the movement of the swaying of the knees from side to side from your feet. So you might press your feet slightly into the ground to initiate the movement to one side, bringing the knees upright, your hips come off the ground slightly, and you can drop your knees a lot or a little bit. And now just move your mind to the knees, so that your knees initiate the movement. And your focus comes away from the feet. You're concentrating on your knees, making a swaying from side to side. And then move from the knees to your hips. So you might want to press your hips into the ground a little bit to activate that swaying from side to side. And then just come to the knees being at the centre. And then just very gently let the head turn to one side. Breathe in as you bring the head gently back to the centre. And breathing out, let the head turn to the other side. Breathing in, come back to the centre. And a couple of times in your own breath pattern, letting the weight of the head be held by the floor, by the earth. And you've got some acupressure points on the back of the head that you're just beginning to connect into. We're moving the neck here, so that is again just connecting into, as I understand it, the vagal nerve, beginning to calm the system down. And then bring the head back to the centre. And then this time, let both knees sway to one side, as little or as much as you would like. Your hip will lift. And your head can turn away from the direction of the knees. Breathing in, knees come back to the centre, the head comes back to the centre, and then breathing out, both the knees both go down to the other side and your head turns away from the knees. Your hip will lift. Your hands can be palms down or they can rest on your abdomen if you want a little tummy massage as the tummy moves under your hands. That's optional. You're resting your head, it's staying heavy on the mat as it turns. And you're massaging over the top of the bottom really, the GB, I believe it's a 30, gallbladder meridian. And then just enjoy a couple of more turns from side to side. And just come back to the centre. Make any adjustments with your feet, bringing your feet perhaps back to hip width apart. And hug the left knee into the chest, the right foot stays on the floor. Just circle your left knee a couple of times in one direction, holding the left knee. And again here, your focus can be just circling the knee, letting your hands do the work. If you want to bring some core awareness in, circle in the other direction. Then a light hold on the knees will engage your tummy or lower abdominal muscles more. So yogically, you're meant to let your tummy do the work, your abdominal muscles, and it's very comforting to hold the knee. And then hugging the left knee into the chest, still holding it, let the knee drift away to arm's length. And in your own breath pattern, just do a few of these. And it's very comforting again to hug the knee in, but if you wanted a particular core, tummy, abdominal focus, then you would hold your knee lightly and let your abdominal muscles do the work for you. So you choose. And then hug the left knee into the chest. Have your bolster to the right side of you, if you're going to use one. Extend out your right leg along the mat. And then your whole body, you might use your elbows to help you, your whole body rolls to the right, lifting up the left hip. And your left knee, the inner part of the left knee or the inner left thigh, rests on top of your bolster. Your right hand is somewhere on the outside of your left thigh. You are extending your right heel and then relaxing. And then you start with your left hand on the left waist. If you want to stretch further, then with a bent elbow, raise the left arm above the head on the mat, and you'll feel the stretch under the arm going into the upper lymphatic system. If this is too much, come back to having your hand on the waist. And if you really want to stretch yourself, then you would open the arm, left arm out to the left at shoulder height, like a book. Palm down. That is very strong. So come to where you're going to be most comfortable. You're giving space for your lungs, you've got the upper lymphatic system, it's a rotation. So balancing for the spine, your digestive system's coming into this too. Your head is looking either up or slightly to the left, and your eyes are either open or closed. To get into the stretch, you can extend your right heel and then just release and relax back again to feel that you're really stretching into the body. And then very gently roll onto your back. Bend one knee and bend the other knee, both feet on the floor. And press your feet down just to lift and realign yourself. You might like to transfer your bolster if you're going to be using one of yours to the left side. And just either palms down or palms on the tummy, just let the knees sway from side to side once again. And then hug the right knee into the chest. And very gently start to circle the right knee in one direction. Your circles can be small or they can be larger. And you're moving the upper, the leg in the hip socket. So it is a perfect rotation for the hips. And then circle the right knee in the opposite direction. And then come to hug the right knee into the chest. And then holding the right knee still, let it drift to arm's length as you breathe in. Hugging the knee into the chest. And in your own breath pattern, just pulse, hugging the knee in to the chest and then releasing it. You're pulsing along the lower back more on the right side. And then hug the right knee into the chest. Extend the left leg along the ground. And then using your whole body, you might need your elbows to support you, to roll the entire body to the left. And your right knee, the inner right thigh, right knee, will rest on the bolster if that it feels good for you. If not, you have your foot on your left leg somewhere, not the knee. Right hand goes on the right waist. Left hand goes somewhere along the outside of the right thigh. And then choose your arm position, whether you keep your hand on the right waist. Whether you raise your right arm bent at the elbow above your head. The elbow can be bent or stretched out according to what feels good for you. Or if you want a really strong stretch, then open your right arm to the right at shoulder height, palms down. Your head is looking up to the side. Just let your head be comfortable and your eyes can be open or closed. If you extend your left heel, you'll stretch into your body and then just release and relax. And you can do that whenever you feel that you like to stretch the body out. Because the body is resting on the ground, it's not being asked to use its heavy-duty back muscles as it might normally do to support us as we have, support our skeletons when we're standing. So therefore the muscles are encouraged to begin to let go and to relax. But it takes a while for those heavy-duty muscles to feel safe to let go. And then very gently think about coming out of this by rolling onto our backs, Palms down, maybe to support as you bend one knee, then the other knee. Feet on the ground. Press the feet down as you lift up and reset your back. And then just bring your heels fractionally closer to your bottom and just press your feet down, flattening the back, a couple of pelvic tilts, just moving the pelvis. And then to counterpose the rotation that we've made, hug one knee into the chest and then hug the other knee into the chest. And then just very gently rock from side to side. You might rock down as far as almost onto your elbow, or you might keep the rock again very central and small. And then place your right foot on the floor, hug your left knee into your chest. And then we're going to do half happy baby. So classically you would hold the foot with the fingers on the outside of the foot, but it's easier, I know, if you want to hold the outside of the foot, fingers facing in. So you take whichever form of happy baby. The knee is aiming towards the floor, the outside of the shoulder, and the sole of the foot is up to the ceiling. Your right hand can be resting on the right hip or on the floor. Just a small stretch and half happy baby. And then hug the left knee into the chest. Place left foot on the floor. Sway the knees from side to side. And then hug the right knee into the chest. Half happy baby to how it works for you on the right side, holding the outside of the foot or from the inside out. And left hand can rest on the left hip bone. And then hug the right knee into the chest, left knee joins it once more, just slightly rock from side to side. Now we're going to be thinking about coming to roll or rock up, rolling to one side, to the right side away from the heart. We're going to be coming to our hands and knees basically. So take your time to come to your hands and knees. Flat back. And just sway the bottom from side to side. Your hands are shoulder width apart, your knees are hip width apart. And then come to stillness and just turn to look over your right shoulder. Come back to the centre with the head and then breathing out time to look over the left shoulder. And come to the centre. Some classic cat-cows, dipping about, looking up, if that works for your neck. Otherwise look along the mat. And as you breathe out, rounding the back, chin to chest. You can involve your feet as an option, breathing in, tucking the toes, looking up. And as you breathe out, flattening the tops of the feet to the ground, rounding chin to chest. And just a couple of times in your own breath pattern. next time you breathe in and dip the back, stay here and just explore the abdominal muscles by bending the elbows, a micro bend, and then straightening them again, and just feel the tightness in the lower abdominal muscles. Dip the elbows and straighten them again. And then round the back, chin to chest. Maybe have the knees a little bit wider as you bring the bottom towards the heels. Leave the hands where they are, stretching out in front of you. And then we'll come to quarter dog. So bring your right arm, elbow out to the right, right palm flat across the body, bottom up in the air, and just slide your left arm forward. You can actually rest your forehead on the mat or on your right forearm, and adjust your bottom so that it feels that you've got a nice stretch on the left side. Tummy and perineum, even here, can engage inwards and upwards. And then sliding the left arm back, letting it cross the body, and then extend the right arm forward, and bottom you'll adjust so that you, towards the heel, so that you've got that lovely stretch on the right side. And then just release, come to a moment of puppy pose, so arms in front of you, bottom up in the air. You're getting into the upper back here. We're not going to stay here for very long. Come to slide the hands back. Kneel up, bring the knees to hip width apart. And come to kneel high, breathing in, stretching the arms up. And breathing out, turn to the right. Left hand goes on the tummy, the navel, right hand goes on the right waist. And turn to look over your right shoulder. If you're wobbling on your balance, you can tuck your toes under. It's slightly more tricky to do that from here. Breathing in, come back to the centre. Raise the arms up, stretching up, and as you breathe out, turn to the left. Right hand goes on the navel, tummy, left hand goes on the left waist, and turn to look over your left shoulder. And then come to release, breathing in, hands go up again. And just thumbs together, just sway slightly from side to side. Stretch up, lower the arms. Just come for a moment to make fist with your hands. Bottom can be slightly off away from the heels. And rest your forehead on your fists. And then very, very gently come to slide the hands back. Come to sit in a very gentle cross-legged position. We're going to do a very simple Tibetan breath. It's a mini breath. So breathe in through both nostrils. And as you breathe out, bring your left hand up, turn the palm outwards, and just connect the middle finger to the left, blocking the left nostril. Breathe out through the right nostril. Breathe in through the right nostril. And as you breathe out, lower your left hand and breathe out through both nostrils. Breathe in through both nostrils and raise your right hand, turn the right palm and block the right nostril. Breathe out through the left. Breathe in through the left. And breathe out through both nostrils, lowering the right arm. Breathe in through both nostrils again, raising the left arm. Drop the left nostril. Out through the right. In through the right. And breathing out through both nostrils, lower the left arm. Breathe in through both nostrils, raise the right arm, turn it outwards. Breathe out through the left. In through the left. And breathe out through both nostrils, lower the right arm. Breathe in through both nostrils, hands rest on the knees, sit up, tummy in, perineum engages, and breathe out, just bow forward slightly. Breathe in, sitting up, and breathe out. And I'll do another round. Breathing in through both nostrils, raise the left arm, drop the left. Breathe out through the right. Breathe in through the right. Breathe out through both nostrils, lowering the left arm. In through both nostrils, raise the right arm, drop the right. Breathe out through the left. Breathe in through the right, left. Breathe out through both nostrils. Breathe in through both nostrils. And breathe out, just back forward. Breathing in, sitting up. And then just very, very gently connect the hands in front of the ears, thumbs behind the ears. Head slightly forward so that the back of the neck is long. Just take a couple of breaths here. And then shift one hand, it doesn't matter which, to the back of the head. One hand to the forehead. Chin is down, back of the neck is long. Couple of breaths here. Keep the hand at the forehead where it is, and drop the hand at the back of the head to the chest. You might want to lift up slightly. Keep the hand at the heart where it is, and drop the hand at the forehead to the navel. And then the hand at the navel comes to join the other hand at the heart. And take a bow for yourself for the day ahead. Thank you for joining me today. And